Hello, it's Cindy from Canine Goddess Professional Training. So today I wanted to cover why I don't use treats when I'm training in obedience. Now, using treats, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with using treats or anything. I do use them sometimes when I'm teaching tricks like rollover, stuff like that, in order to lure the dog with a treat to get them into certain positions. I don't use it when I'm doing actual obedience training when I first meet a dog. Now I do use it when I do scent detection. I have a video about BB where I did scent detection with him because of his fear, and he focused on his eyes. So I like to teach the dogs to focus on their nose, and I will use treats for that. But mind you, I've already established my baseline of obedience with the dog before I've done any of that. So I want you to understand sort of my view of the use of treats, why I don't use it or incorporate it into my actual training. And the way I see it is the ultimate goal is different. So when somebody uses treats with people who, they're trying to establish a friendship. They want to be friends with the dog, okay? I'm not looking to be the dog's friend. I am looking to gain respect from the animal, okay? I want them to respect me. The other thing they're doing with it when they're teaching with treats is they're using it to lure them into positions. They're teaching sit and down, okay? I'm teaching the dog how to make choices. So when I'm teaching a dog, just sit alone, okay? Now I know most dogs already know this command. They've heard it 1,000 times. Even as puppies, when puppies, they don't know much, 8 weeks old, they haven't heard a whole lot of commands. Usually, if I stand there, I can say sit, that dog's gonna put his butt on the ground, okay? Especially because I have them on the leash. They can't go anyplace. So a lot of times when they're using the treats, they're luring them into a position. They're just teaching positions, okay? I'm teaching a little bit more than that. I want this dog to understand I'm trying to teach choices. They have to make a choice. They can stand there all day, or they can stop, relax, and sit. The other thing I'm teaching is how to slow their brain down, okay? That's like the first thing I do. When I have a dog, the very first visit they come to me, and any dog really, their mind is racing. They're going 100 miles an hour. You introduce treats with that, all they're focused on is getting the treat. They're not focused on what you're trying to teach them, okay? For me, I'm trying to teach them how to slow that brain down. So I want to take away all distractions. And to me, a treat is a distraction. I want them to just slow down and think about what it is we're doing or what it is we're not doing, which is going crazy, okay? So that's my goal when I start working with a dog, is that I'm trying to teach them how they can focus and slow their own brain down. I can't slow it down for them. They have to do it. Okay? And that is my goal, is I use the leash to get them to slow their brain down and focus on what I'm trying to teach them. Now, like I said, when you're using treats, you're trying to lure them into a position, that kind of stuff. Treats are used to motivate the dog to follow the commands, okay? They can get the dog to sit faster because they're putting a treat in front of their face, and they lure them into the position. For me, I want to teach this dog that they have a choice to make. So as I'm standing there and I've got that dog on a leash at my side, I'm waiting. I can give the command. If they don't know the commands, then usually I will just stand there silently and wait until they make the choice to calm down and sit. Okay? So that's how I'm kind of, instituting that making choices. right from the get-go. I don't want to teach a bunch of positions and then teach them that they have to follow through with commands. I want them to understand they have choices to make, and we're starting now. The big thing is slowing that brain down. Once they learn to use the brain, they are in a much better position to stop making proper choices, okay? The other issue that I have with the treats is you're not connecting with the dog. Treats are very cold. There's a distance between you and the dog. You know, there's no appreciation for what the dog just did, okay? It's very cold, in my opinion. In other words, you know, you get the dog to sit and then they just give him treats. Good boy, here you go. And they fill him with treats. For me, I'm petting, I'm praising, I'm talking to the dog. I'm trying to connect with that dog on an emotional level because I appreciate the fact that they just slowed down and sat their butt down and then looked up at me like, what are we doing, lady? Okay, perfect. That was huge for that dog to take that step. And if the dog is at a position where I can, you know, behavior-wise, I can pet them. When I pet them, it's not just, good boy, good boy. It's a slow, methodical, you know, soothing type petting, okay? Because again, I'm trying to show them that I appreciate the fact that they're following through, that they're relaxing, and that they're actually trying to connect with me, that they realize I'm trying to teach them something. I'm not just giving them something. This isn't a negotiation, okay? I want them to sit. They have to make the choice to sit. Or I'm going to wait until they get tired enough to put their butt on the ground. Once that dog learns to respect me, that's when you realize that they're going to trust, okay? Because with respect comes trust. Now they trust me, and they're going to look to me for guidance and safety, okay? They're going to choose me over any other distraction because I took the time to show them that I can connect with them, that I appreciate the fact that they're following through with what I'm trying to teach them. Now, there's a few reasons why I don't really care for using the treats. And again, like, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with these. Are just my personal issues. You know, I've used treats. My thing, I cannot stand getting all that saliva all over my hands and the treat, and you know, from the dog looking at it, and then I'm wiping my hands off on my pants. And now, what's the dog gonna do, right? They're looking at my hand. They're looking at, you know, my pants. They're sniffing at me. Their focus is on that treat, sniffing my hands, you know, sniffing my pants. The other issue that I have is that they're focused not just on getting the treats, but they're nipping at my hands. So I'm inadvertently teaching them to nip at my hands to get food. And my goal, of course, is teaching a dog, you never put your teeth on a human in any situation. I don't care if they got treats or not. So it doesn't help with my ultimate goals, okay? Again, my goals are different than what the goals are for a trainer who is using treats. You know, I have a baseline of behaviors that I am trying to teach this dog. I'm not just trying to teach them positions, sit, down, you know, heel. I'm actually teaching them how to behave. I'm teaching them, you know, expectations, respect. I'm teaching them boundaries. All of those things I'm doing when I teach these commands. And it's the way I go about it teaches them those boundaries. And using treats just doesn't help me in that situation. Yes, I could, you know, throw some gloves on so I don't get it all over me. You know, I could do all those types of things. A lot of times too, when people are using the treats, the dogs are off leash. Again, that goes against what my ultimate goal is. In order to get the dog to respect me and to trust me, I need to teach them on leash. I need complete control on leash. If you can't control a dog on leash, you will never control the dog off leash, okay? And again, it comes down to making choices. When this dog knows that I am willing to protect its invisible boundary, then they're going to trust me even off leash, okay? That's a big deal. Trust is huge with dogs. They want to feel safe. Now, understand, I'm not saying, that treat training is bad or anything. I just wanted to explain why I don't use treats when it comes to, commands and behavior stuff. A lot of people do use treats, but again, their education and their background is different than mine, and their ultimate goals are different than mine. So, like I said, my goal is to connect with the animal, is to gain their respect. I don't need to be their friend. I need them to respect me. I need them to trust me. I need them to know that all I'm concerned about is what is in their best interest, okay? That's my concern. I'm not worried about what the public thinks. And a lot of times when people are using treats, they're doing it because they don't want people to look at them bad. They're worried that, that you're being too aggressive with that dog, whatever. And there are times, trust me, I will put a slip lead on the dog, and the dog will have a complete meltdown, and it sounds horrible. Mind you, there's no pressure on the leash. The dog is having a temper tantrum. But to people going by, I'm sure they must be like, whoa, what are you doing to that poor dog? I'm not doing nothing. The dog's making a choice to have a temper tantrum, and usually they get away with it probably. Most times. But because I see through that, and I wait them out, and I let them have their temper tantrum, then they stop, and they get up, and they get into a sit position, and they say, okay, fine, you win. So those are my reasons for not using treats when I'm teaching. Like I said, I do use them when I am trying to, if I'm teaching tricks, roll over and stuff like that. Then I do it. I also do it for when I'm teaching scent detection. So when I want that dog to start using its nose versus its eyes, scent is their most reliable and their strongest sense. And so I want them to rely on that information that they're getting through their nose. They can smell a human, in a long ways away. So they can, before they even see them, which means that they can tell if that, if they trust the information coming in, they can tell, is that a bad human, a good human? Is that a bad dog? Is it a good dog? They know whether or not something is a threat if they trust their nose, and they'll know it sooner. Okay, and then that will clue me in, because their behavior will change suddenly. So then I'm going to start looking. Oh, what's going on? Something's coming. They sense it. Okay, they smell it. But that's the key for why I'm using, praise and petting. That connection, that physical connection with the dog. So that's just a little bit of history for why I don't use treats in my training. Have a great day, guys, and thank you so much for your support.